Allahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Semantics Pragmatics. This is Dr. Fahad bin Deheish, and this is lecture number 13. Okay. The title of this lecture is actually about the cooperative principle. It's about being cooperative. Okay. So this is lecture 13. The cooperative principle. Okay, what does that mean? We will know that in this lecture. So let me just review something before I started with this principle. Now, do you remember we spoke about utterances? Do you remember me, like, when I taught you about sentence and utterance and how a beggar, for example, might say, I'm hungry, and you would actually give him money, and how is maybe a boy at the bedtime is telling you, I'm hungry, just kind of to stall you and delay the time of bed. So how do we understand utterances differently? Every time we talk, we actually rely a lot on conversation rules, on some conversation rules. Okay, these are basically represent our understanding of how language is used in particular situation to convey a particular message. Okay, so I'm hungry said by a poor man, by a beggar, it means give me some money. And I'm hungry said by a baby or a boy before he goes to bed. He just does not want to go to bed. He wants to keep playing. I'm hungry just to stay. So you go away and make him a sandwich or something. Okay. So we always, as speakers and listeners, we rely on some conversation rules. If I ask you, for example, would you like to go to a movie tonight? And you say, I have to study for an exam. Would you like to go to a movie tonight is basically a yes-no question, right? But I don't see you saying either yes or no. You just said, I have to study for an exam. I, as a speaker, found this convincing, appropriate. Okay, maybe next time then. Why did I understand this as basically no? That person will not go with me to the movie. I was relying on some kind of mental, conversational rules. I know that you are declining my invitation, even though there is nothing in the literal meaning of the sentence that says no. A speaker of a language, or a speaker of a language, we are able to draw inferences about what is meant, but not necessarily said. So I have to study for an exam. The meaning here, I have to study for an exam tonight, so I cannot go with you tonight. Okay? So I know what is meant, although that the other person did not really or literally say it. He did not really say it. Okay? So information, if you remember this, that is conveyed in this way, we called it implicature, right? Or implicature, right? You remember that? Okay. So I just wanted to remind you what an implicature is and how we basically understand each other depending on some rules. But now, in this lecture, we would actually discover these rules. The general overcharging guideline for our conversation or conversational interactions is often called the cooperative principle. Cooperative. When we speak, we're being very cooperative. We see that in that example. Would you like to go to the movie tonight? With me to the movie tonight? I have to study for an exam. We're so cooperative. The other person did not need to say no, I cannot, okay, or no, I would not, but I understood what's meant, right? Because we're cooperative here. Because we basically depend on this principle, the cooperative principle. What is the cooperative principle say? Basically, it says, make your contribution appropriate to the conversation. Contribution means your answer, your response to something, appropriate to the conversation. That means it needs to be kind of related, sufficient, in a good manner, okay, true, okay, stuff like that. So, the cooperative principle is actually supported or can be divided into 4 maxims. 4 maxims. These maxims are called Gracian maxims because Grace is the scholar who actually came with this theory. Okay. The 4 maxims are quantity, quality, relation, and manner. Quantity, quality, relation, and manner. These are the 4 maxims that are related to the cooperative principle. So what's the cooperative principle again? It's to make your contribution appropriate to this conversation. Always make it appropriate. How appropriate? By considering the quantity, quality, relation, and manner. What does that mean? What does these 4, or what do these 4 mean? Let's take them one by one. We said quantity, right? So, Grice says, make your contribution as informative as required, but not more or less than is required. So when someone asks you a question, make your contribution to this question as informative as required. No more, no less. Okay? In order to be cooperative. In order to be cooperative. Okay. We'll take some examples in a minute. The quality maxim means do not say that which you believe to be false or for which you lack adequate evidence. Okay? Don't say something like, I was flying with my car today. That's basically kind of impossible, right? At least at this era. Okay? So say something of good quality, okay? Something true. The relation maxim, be relevant to other people. If you're taking a part in a conversation, be relevant, okay? Okay, don't be irrelevant. Okay, they're asking you about A and you're telling them about C, for example. Just be relevant in your conversation. The manner maxims. Be clear, brief, and orderly. Clear, brief, and orderly. Okay? So, the maxims that relate to the cooperative principles are 4. The quantity maxim, the quality maxim, the relation maxim, and the manner. if you're taking a part in a conversation, people expect you to adhere to the quantity maxim. If they ask you, how are you? You can say, good, thank you, stuff like that, right? Don't just, if you are, for example, in a restaurant, right? And there is a long line, a lot of people, but that person in the restaurant, the waiter, is asked to be nice and polite. So he might say, how are you doing, sir? How are you doing today, sir? Just be, make this contribution informative as required, no more, no less. You can say, I'm really good, I'm doing well, thank you, right? Don't just go and explain what happened to you that day, like, oh, today you asked me how I am. I actually am not really good. I have toothache, and also I had a problem in my car engine. I took it to the garage today, and I spent about 1,000 riyal on it, and it kind of cost me a fortune. I'm not really happy. That's why I'm here to have my meal at this restaurant, and I hope it's good. What is this? That's not adhering to the quantity maxim. You're not being cooperative. You're not being cooperative, right? Or you have a son, for example, and you take him to a new school. So at lunch, you ask him, how was your first day at the new school? And the kid would say, good. That's not enough, right? That's not enough. So that's kind of not being cooperative, not adhering or sticking to the quantity maxims. The quality, don't say something that we know it's a lie, okay? The exam was cancelled, right? That's kind of, if you want to be a successful speaker and contribute appropriately to conversation, just say the truth. Don't say what you believe to be false, okay, or you don't have evidence, adequate evidence for. Be relevant. Be relevant. So, for example, I ask you about your car, right? And you're telling me about your brother's car. I would say, what kind of car are you driving? And you would say, oh, my brother drives a Mercedes. I did not ask you about your brother. I'm asking you about yourself, right? So you're making a lot of kind of breaking down in the conversation when you do that because you're not relevant, okay? The manner, be clear, brief, and orderly. If I ask you, for example, how can I exit this room? Don't say, you go to this wooden piece on the wall, there is a handle, you put your hand on the handle, and you push it down, then you basically pull it, and you can exit the door. Like, why you're telling me that? Why are you speaking to me like this, right? That's not the good manner, right? To adhere to the manner maxim, you can just tell me, oh, there is a door right there, you just you can open it and leave, right? That's the basically kind of normal manner, not to speak to me as if I'm a retard, right? Like, you just put your hand there, push it down, and pull. Like, that's not the good manner or the expected cooperative manner when we have a conversation. Okay, so the four maxims again: quantity, quality, relation, manner. Quantity, you need to be informative as required, no more, no less. quality. Don't say something that you think is false or you don't have enough evidence for. Be relevant and also be clear, brief and orderly. Okay. Sometimes we use hedges. Hedges are basically these kind of little phrases to show that we are concerned about following the maxims while being cooperative in our conversation. Hedges, like I said, are these little words or phrases. We use them to indicate that we're not really sure that what we're saying is sufficiently correct or complete. Because you don't want to violate the maxims, you use hedges. You can say sort of or kind of as hedges of accuracy of our statement. For example, you can say his hair was kind of long, because you kind of not sure if it's long to you is basically long for other people. Okay, the book cover is sort of yellow, kind of yellowish. Okay, it could be like more orange, more pale, kind of yellowish. Okay, so sort of, kind of, just because you want to show the listener that you are aware of the maxims. Okay, the quality maxims, the quality maxims. You can use other expressions like as far as I know. Why? Because you could be mistaken and you don't want to violate the maxim of quality. You don't want to say something that is false. Okay? Or you can say, now correct me if I'm wrong, but the gold price these days is so and so, right? So correct me if I'm wrong. It's like I'm aware I could be wrong. I don't want to impose myself as very sure, but I could be wrong. So I'm using hedges. Or I'm not absolutely sure, but this is what I saw. Okay? Or I'm not absolutely sure, but I think Muhammad left. Okay? So here I'm giving you a hedges because I don't want to say a lie, or I don't want to say something that is false. Okay? I can say Jackson is guilty. That's kind of very confirmative sentence. Or I think it's possible that Jackson may be guilty. You see? I think. It's possible. Maybe. Okay? So here I'm just showing that I'm aware of the maxims. I can say something like, so you ask me what happened today to me, and I say, to make a long story short, I would say that my car broke down. To make a long story short, you basically kind of aware of the quantity. You don't want to we don't want to tell me the whole story, but you kind of making it kind of short. Okay? Or you can say, let me change the subject here, because you're going to tell me something irrelevant. So you're asking me about my exams, and I tell you, oh, let me change the topic here. The lunch today is going to be on me, okay? Or stuff like that. So you're aware that you're basically kind of changing the subject. So basically, you don't want to violate relation, okay? So hedges, we use hedges all the time because we're actually aware of the cooperative principle, and in particular, we're aware of the quality, quantity, manner, and relation. I hope this is clear. Sometimes we actually violate or flout the maxims on purpose. Yes, on purpose. Because we want to convey a different message. So, we said quantity, your contribution to be supposed to be as informative as required, no more, no less. So, check out this example. I might ask you, how do I look? How do I look? You might say, your shoes are nice. Your shoes are nice. Not the shoes, of course, but like if it's a lady, for example, and she's asking you, how do I look? And you say, your shoes are nice. What does that mean? You're not adhering, you're not sticking to the quantity maxim. I ask you about how do I look as a whole, and you're telling me about my shoes. This is kind of a particular message that it could be interpreted as, I don't really like how you look, but I like your shoes. Like, I think your shoes are fine, but your dress, for example, is not that good. Okay, so speaker A here would understand, the one who asked, that the whole appearance is not that appealing, which made speaker B comment only on a small part of it. So speaker B violated the maxims by giving a comment on a small part. Another example, for example, if someone asks, have you finished your homework and cleaned your room? And you say, I finished my homework. What does that mean? Like, I finished my homework. You did not respond to the rest of the question. I did not clean my room, right? I violated the quantity. Okay? Let's move on to the quality maxim. Quality maxim requires that the statement used in a conversation have some factual basis, right? So there is a fact, there is a truthness in it. If we're in the middle of the summer in Riyadh, for example, and I ask, what's the weather like today? And we're in Riyadh. And someone responds, it's snowing as usual. Is he saying the truth? No. So he's violating the quality maxim. But why is he doing that? Maybe he's just being sarcastic. Like, yeah, it's snowing as usual. It's never snow in Riyadh, right? So, like, why are you saying that? Maybe because, like, it's obvious. It's the middle of the summer and you're asking me how the weather is like. It's snowing as usual. That's my response to you. I'm being just, it's an irony or sarcasm. Okay. I sometimes violate the maxim of relation. A failure to respect the maxim of relation creates an odd effect. An example, if someone asks you, have you finished your homework yet? And you respond, it's been raining lots lately, isn't it? Or hasn't it? It has been raining a lot lately, hasn't it? You basically violated the maxim of relation. I'm asking you about your homework and telling me about the rain. Why you're doing that? Maybe because you want to change the subject. You don't want to tell me about your homework. You're not happy with your homework. You did not finish your homework. Okay? So, you violated the maxim of relation by not responding in a relevant way. But by giving this response, you signal that you want to change the topic of conversation. Okay? So you violate it because there is a message you want to tell me. Okay? Like, please stop, don't ask me about my homework. So I tell you something like, oh, it has been raining lately these days, right? Okay? It's not related. I know it's not related, but I'm doing that on purpose. Okay? The maxim of manner. Now imagine this situation. a father and a mother and their kids. Okay? So the mother says, let's get the kids something. Something. Okay? The father does not want to bring ice cream. He does not want to say ice cream. Because if he says ice cream, the kids will get excited and they will say, yes, we want ice cream. Okay? So the father agrees that we will buy the kids something from the market, but he does not want it to be ice cream. So the answer is, let's get the kids something. Okay, but I veto ICE-CREAMS. Is this a code? Yes, it is a code. It's basically the spelling of ice cream. Why did he spell it that way? The mother would understand him, because putting these letters together, okay, it's not going to be ICECEARM, right? But the kids would be like, huh? What was that? They're not able to, they will not be able to understand that code. Okay, this is a violation of manner of speaking, right? But it is to convey a particular meaning, Okay? So, again, when we speak, we are actually expected to be cooperative. So we follow the cooperative principle. Cooperative principle is so wide. We divide it into 4 parts: quality, quantity, manner, and relation. Okay? We usually stick to them. That's what we do. We sometimes violate them on purpose. When you violate them, we actually trying to give a different message. And we expect the person on the other end understanding our message. Okay? So when I say ICE, CREAM, it's a code? Yes, because I want you to understand. I'm violating manner, but I want you to understand something. If you're asking me about my homework and I tell you about the rain, or ask you about the rain, it's a violation of relation, but I do it on purpose. If you're asking me about the weather in Riyadh and I tell you it's snowing, I know it's false, it's not true. I'm violating quality, but I'm doing this because I'm being sarcastic. If you're asking me how do I look and you say, oh, your shoes are fine, or your shoes are nice, right? I'm making a good comment about one part, not the whole thing. So I'm violating the quantity in purpose because honestly that dress is not good, or the whole appearance is not good, but the shoes at least are fine. Okay? So this is what we actually meant by the cooperative principles. It relates to implicature. Because implicature, there is an additional conveyed meaning. We studied that earlier, but today we're actually putting them together. Implicature and the cooperative principle going hand to hand. I hope this was clear to all of you. Okay, before I end this lecture, I'm actually going to go with you and do some exercises. All right? Okay. So, here. Question. Which maxim does this speaker seem to be particularly careful about? The speaker is saying, I may be mistaken, but I thought I saw a wedding ring on his finger. I may be mistaken. This is a hedges, right? Why is he using this hedges? I may be mistaken. Because he's aware of the quality maxim. Correct. Quality. He doesn't want to be, or does not want to say something false. Okay? So I may be mistaken, but I think I saw a ring in his hand, okay, or in his finger, okay. So a question like that could actually appear in our exam. I thought that would be helpful. With this, I actually end this lecture. I wish you good luck with your studies in semantic pragmatics and other courses as well. Good luck. See you later. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.